Do you want to hear about that one first before we tell you about the one we're planning for next year, or?
We want to hear about both. Yes. We've got 10 minutes. Yes.
All right, well, all of these guys were involved in building the one outside. If you want to ask them any questions, that's fine. If not, I can tell you a little bit about it.
Very nice.
We started out in September is when we started construction, and we've changed the plan 2 or 3 times along the way because things didn't work out the way we thought they would to get things to fit where they needed to be. The carpentry class, which is what I teach, did most of the actual construction. The building department maintenance class also assisted on that. They did the plumbing and the wiring and all the fancy little stuff inside, which is part of what made it so nice. We decided if we were going to build a tiny house, we wanted it as nice as we could make it on the inside to make up for losing the floor space. So we went with custom cabinets and high-end faucets and everything we could. The TV, smart TV, Blu-ray player with it, everything. Yeah, all the lighting is LED.
Charging ports in your receptacles in the wall, built-in charging ports, USB ports in the receptacles. The shower head is actually powered by a small turbine and lights up blue, green, and red according to the temperature, and has a temperature display. The mirror is LED in the bathroom, which Mr. Sparkman picked out. But it's very nice.
Kitchen faucets are one touch.
Kitchen faucets are one touch, and it's the head of it pulls out and self retracts. Lots of high end nice stuff to make it just as nice as we could make it.
I think one of the things you find unique about this tiny house, especially compared to the other two, they're all great projects for the schools. But I think on our project, the guys worked really hard to utilize all the space that was available. In other words, we probably got double storage what most of these others do because they spent so much time working on that and thinking about what do you really look for in a tiny house? Well, obviously, you're giving up a lot to move into that to start with. So one thing you don't want to lose everything of is space. So any inch of that unit that could be used for storage, they made good utilization of it. So I commend them on that. And it shows, that project shows a commitment of the school, the county. It's a county-wide project. And these guys, 2 of these guys are the ones that presented it last year. They're back now as seniors. And we got 2 juniors over here going to follow in their tracks. And, okay, 3, yeah. And I just want to commend them for what a good job they've done. Because without them leading the way, this wouldn't have happened for us. And I want to thank them personally here. So we'll let them talk to you a little bit about the project.
What you learned about the project?
It was harder than you would think.
Tell me name.
Logan Cottle, student at KnottATC. I'm actually his student in the building department maintenance. We, like he said, we started, we helped with the full construction of it. It was mostly them. But after it was a structure, we came in and done all the plumbing, all the electrical, and it was a group project, really. And I hope these guys can make one just as nice or better next year.
My name's Alex Long. I've been his student for the past 3 years, and probably the greatest carpentry teacher I've ever had. Probably the only person.
The only one you had.
Yeah, it's the only one I've ever had. But as far as you can tell, if you compare the tiny houses, you can tell our teachers probably, I would say, no more, because it looks a lot nicer. That's just me. I like our tiny house a lot more. If I was going to spend the money, it'd be spent on ours.
Another thing I'd like to say before I pass it on to these guys is it's a great project. We're not just getting there and twiddling our thumbs. We get there and we work. And I believe it'll pay off in the long run. We're learning great skills from great people. And I'll let these guys talk.
So you want to hear about next year's?
Yeah.
Well, this year, you kind of raised the roof a little bit with a peak in the middle. So and it's just maximized space, but it made things a lot harder than it could have been. So next year we're thinking about, instead of making an angled roof like that, it's going to be just a slope one from one side straight down. And I don't know.
Probably next year we'll go from an 18-foot trailer to maybe a 20-foot trailer, and we'll have more space and put more cabinets in it, and maybe, like he said, change the roof a little bit, and maybe go a little wider. And put some more, maybe put a bigger fridge and all that in it, and put a bigger bed. But yeah.
The bigger bed part, we actually thought about getting one that raised up and down, and that right there would help a lot with the space. You could have a lot more space. More space is a really big deal when you're wanting to live in such a tight quarter, and especially with somebody else. And I thought that was probably one of the best ideas, and we really did think about all the cabinet space and all of that. We really tried to think about that. And the steps, I really do like the steps. I took a lot of pride in those steps. These are custom. There's a lot of storage in it, and they're real sturdy. The cabinets, everything is custom. I'm just really proud of it.
Talk about the drawers, how you angle the drawers to fit.
Yeah, all the drawers are angled. The steps and everything's angled as you go up. The steps get wider to help with the space as you walk through the door and everything. All the cabinets is angled. All the doors. It's got doors going all the way up the steps. Got the microwave and mini fridge mounted in them. It's a really nice little house. I think it was a great experience for all of us, really.
One last thing I'd like to mention is we used a lot of updated materials, like they said, with the LED light and things like that. And also, instead of using traditional PVC, we used PEX tubing, and to save space, we used an instant hot water heater instead of a tank. A little more convenient.
The stairs and the storage that Colin were talking about, the angled drawers, were probably the biggest headache that I dealt with on the whole project, because I'd never done anything like that before. So we had to do all the math to figure out the angles and try it and test fit it and rework it and all this other stuff. Next year's, I think, is going to be just as nice, if not nicer. We're shooting for a more open floor plan, maybe. We've learned a few tricks this year. We had some issues with the steel frame on the one that's here now, and the plumbing being non-compatible. So we're going to raise our floor in our kitchen and bathroom up about 2 feet higher than the floor and the rest of it, so all the plumbing will be up under there instead of having to deal with the steel frame. So we learned a lot of lessons the first time around that we're going to apply the second time.
So impressed.
Those other schools can hear all our secrets, can they?
Well, it's live stream.
We messed up.
They're watching it, you messed up.
That's okay. I told them that we were going 3 stories next year, too.
I'd like to mention about the entertainment. The entertainment system to the TV. After seeing Mr. Sparkman's staircase and how nice it was, and knowing that we was going to put all of our components to our television inside the staircase because there was no other place to put them, we run HDM. I found special HDM plates online, and these guys run all the wires through the walls with 2 HDMI hookups, a coax hookup, and RCA hookups, so that you can plug all your components in that entertainment center in the stairs, and then all the wires run through the wall and come out behind the TV, so that your TV shows no wires whatsoever. And I thought that was a really nice feature.
That's really, there's not a whole lot more to say. We're still in the planning stages for next year's. We've got a couple of different options for what it's going to look like, a couple of different options for floor plans. So between now and the end of school, we'll finalize that stuff and should be able to get started as soon as school starts back. Thank you.
Impressive.
Thank y'all.
Very nice.